How good was Patrick Mahomes in high school? Patrick Mahomes can arguably be one of the greatest quarterbacks that the NFL has ever seen in the history of the league, at least when it comes to arm talent and the ability to consistently win. But that's an argument for a different day. In just a few short seasons in the league, Mahomes has been able to win a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, was named the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, the MVP of the league, the NFL passing touchdowns leader, and a 5-time Pro Bowler. Not to mention that he's already thrown for 24,000 passing yards, with 191 touchdowns and just 49 interceptions throughout his football career. Doing all of which, holding on to a strong 105.7 passer rating and a 66.3 completion percentage is an incredible feat. It doesn't matter which statistic you look at, Mahomes is usually excelling at it. Though, he didn't just randomly pop up on the scene as a generational athlete that everybody knew would win a Super Bowl. Before he became the quarterback that we've all come to know and love, he was a star athlete back in high school. Mahomes played not one, not two, but 3 sports during his high school career, though the 2 major ones were baseball and football, with basketball being the final sport. Many thought that Mahomes would walk away from football completely in favor of baseball because his father was an MLB pitcher that played in the league for 13 long seasons. However, that never ended up happening, and he was stuck with football full-time. The biggest sign that he might opt to roll with baseball was the time he pitched a no-hitter with a total of 16 strikeouts in the afternoon. As you could probably expect, college scouts who caught wind of the game instantly thought he could be a great player if given the right coaching and situation. Oh, and we also can't ignore the story that his childhood friend Coleman Patterson shared regarding him at the plate. He once said, "I think I saw him only strike out 2 times in my whole life." And that's from the age of 7 until 18. Before we dive into the other major sport, basketball deserves a mention as well. His godfather, another former MLB pitcher named LaTroy Hawkins, claims to this day that basketball was what Mahomes was the best at during his time in high school. Though he also mentions golf, high jumping, and ping pong. But circling back to basketball, Hawkins said that Mahomes was able to beat both himself and Patrick's father in consecutive games on his own. We rarely ever hear about what Mahomes can do in the sport of basketball, but judging off the stories we've heard from his minor time playing the sport, apparently the guy could have been a real threat on the hardwood. He had to undergo some thinking to try and figure out what he wanted to do with his life moving forward. Eventually, he came to the conclusion that it was football he wanted to play full-time, and returned to White House High School as the starting quarterback as a senior. He had himself a phenomenal year that time around as well. He threw for 4,619 yards and 50 touchdowns through the air. He was also a runner as well, taking off for 948 rushing yards and 15 touchdowns in the exact same season. The guy was putting up insane numbers in multiple sports, and everybody could just tell that he was going to be a big deal one day. Even his head football coach raved about his ability to throw the football. He once said, "I've heard his dad tell stories about how he threw a ball. I think from shortstop to first base, and about knocked somebody out. I think that may have been in T-ball." Mahomes wrapped up his high school career still in the middle of 2 paths. He could head into college and continue his quarterbacking career, or he could go ahead and attempt his luck in the MLB. After all, the Detroit Tigers officially selected him in the 37th round of the 2014 MLB Draft. Mahomes opted to not sign a contract with them and eventually committed to Texas Tech University. He also received offers from Rice and Houston, but turned them both down. Surprisingly though, Patrick wanted to go into football and Texas Tech, despite being ranked as the 12th best dual-threat quarterback in his class that season. Rivals also ranked him as just a 3-star recruit coming off that stellar senior year. Even before that senior year though, he was putting up excellent numbers. In 2012, the year that he officially became the starting quarterback for the team, he threw for 3,839 yards and 46 passing touchdowns. He helped take the squad into the 3rd round of the state playoffs, and he was subsequently awarded numerous honors. The first of which was the Texas High School Player of the Year award, and then he was given the Max Preps Male Athlete of the Year award, just to top it all off. At the end of the day, there's no denying that Pat Mahomes was the talk of the town during his high school years. He played 3 major sports for his school and excelled at every single one of them with relative ease. That's not even mentioning the praise he got for sports like golf, ping pong, and high jumping. Honestly, looking at these numbers and reading these stories makes it quite difficult to believe that scouts thought that he was just a 3-star recruit coming into college. Though maybe that can also just be hindsight considering that he's a Super Bowl champion nowadays. Regardless, there's no taking away how stellar he was in high school. And the scouts rating him as just a 3-star recruit could have been the motivation he needed to get even better throughout college, and now into the NFL.